AfterBuzz TV, starting place to the likes of WWE female superstars Cathy, Kelley, Sonya, Deville, and Zelina Vega proudly presents Women's Wrestling Weekly, the world's first podcast and YouTube series dedicated exclusively to women's wrestling, featuring all the latest news as well as interviews with top superstars in the industry. And now, AfterBuzz TV's own gorgeous lady of wrestling, TK Trinidad.
Bonjour, you're watching Women's Wrestling Weekly, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. My name is TK Trinidad, aka the Canadian Assassin, and I have some amazing special co-hosts with me today. She hails from the Valley of LA. Please welcome the farmer's daughter, Emily May.
Hi, everyone. Happy to be here.
Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And this woman never stops working. She is the backstage correspondent, not only to WOW, but also to Impact Wrestling. And she has some big news for us. Please welcome Gabby Loren.
Thank you, TK. You're a hustler, too.
Well, I mean,
that's why
how
we
do it.
Yeah. So, yes, I have some big news to announce, you guys. I not only have done 4 episodes with Impact, but I will be back for Bound for Glory, the pay-per-view in Chicago.
Huge!
So this is really exciting. I can't wait to be back with all the wrestlers again and to do more backstage interviews and bring you guys all the details.
And if you guys didn't get a chance to see Impact and the whole the wedding stuff with Melissa Santos and Brian Cage and Gabby, the correspondent, you need to watch it. It is absolutely amazing. And I'm really glad that Impact is going to be back on television as well. So
yes.
Definitely kudos to
and
that.
on Access TV.
And now, like I said, we have an amazing show like we always do with amazing guests. She is a returning guest. She is a friend of the show. She is a WOW superhero, but she's also on Atomic Salon in Vegas. Please welcome Abilene Maverick, a.k.a. Barbie Hayden.
Hey, guys. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, no.
Did you find your car?
Is everything okay?
Hello? Barbie?
I hope everything's
Let's do a
fine.
quick commercial.
Commercial break.
Stand by.
What was that?
I don't know. I
Sounded like a car alarm.
Yeah, it sounds...
Or what?
Oh, my gosh, you guys, I'm so sorry.
What happened?
My car just went ballistic. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, we're just glad you're okay. I was
I
like,
thought
wait,
we were like, did she get run over or
We
something?
were worried. It sounded bad.
I was like, oh, this is not good.
I'm like
This
trying
is
to
Las
think
Vegas
positive.
for you.
Ryan, are we still going?
We are still going.
Okay,
great.
well, let's continue.
We're going to continue.
That's okay, Ryan. We can leave it as is.
Oh.
Should include that.
I know, right? Well, we're glad you're okay. Barbie is currently in Vegas. She just had an amazing birthday and she's looking for her car, but she was so gracious enough to hop on an interview real
Wild
quick with
birthday.
us. So first off, congratulations. Tell us a little bit about Atomic Salon.
Okay, so I'm actually very, very new to the circus world. This is my first circus show that I've done, because I've just been in wrestling before this, and it's very, it's funny because it's very close to wrestling, like way more than I ever would have guessed. Just, I guess, in terms of, not only, the camaraderie and, the type of people who were in it or, whatever, but even just a lot of the small details of how to put the show together. It's something I feel really familiar with, which is really, really nice because I was terrified. To be completely honest, when I got this job, I was just like, okay, all right, I can do this. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I can do this.
What is it?
They've been just so welcoming, and they really they're so professional too, because even though I'm a wrestler, they actually hired a stunt coordinator to come in.
Nice.
And just make sure that everything was okay, and then make sure that my matched what they're looking for. And I don't know, it's been really cool. And also because it's not like a wrestling show in terms of okay, everyone wrestles, obviously. In this case, it's everybody has their own set of skills, their own particular act, their own thing that they do. And so, you go in and you're just oh my God, this person does this and this person does that. And everybody's just so talented in what they do. So it's really cool to see it all come together.
So is it like Cirque du Soleil meets circus meets wrestling?
Yes, like that's actually
Okay.
a really good way to put it, because I've had a lot of people ask me about Cirque du Soleil just because it's such a well-known,
Right.
organization, and it's been around forever. We are the adult comedy version of like a Cirque du Soleil show,
Okay.
and we are not on that
Okay.
grand stage where it's you don't feel like that intimacy, you don't really feel that connection with people, because with Cirque du Soleil, it's very much a performance where you go and you just watch.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's a large crowd, and I'm actually going to one tonight. I've never even been to Cirque du Soleil, but they've invited our cast to come see the show. So we're gonna go see Mystere tonight. So I'm really excited to see a different tempo of circus.
Mm-hmm.
But ours is it's a smaller venue. You have a few hundred people for each show, because they have 3 shows. And it's very submersive, because people are involved the entire time.
Okay.
Physically, you'll be added into the show, or you'll be messed with, or we're moving around the audience, and it's really cool in that aspect. So it almost is kind of like doing a TV taping of wrestling,
Okay.
or doing an indie show of wrestling.
Wow.
'Cause with indies you get to kind of interact more.
What additional training did you have to do for the show? It sounds really intense.
It is. It's they're so good at making it feel like it's not, though. It's so weird. But yeah, they had us all move over to Scotland to do the training,
Wow.
and to put the show together. And then we actually debuted it at the Fringe Festival, which is a giant festival over there.
Yeah, the Edinburgh
that a lot
Fringe
of
Festival.
circus and what's that?
The Edinburgh Fringe Festival.
Yes.
Okay.
So how was your experience living in Scotland and working on this show for the first time? Obviously, it's a completely different world than wrestling, although it has its similarities, like you mentioned. So what was that experience like?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I kind of felt like I was away at camp or something. That's kind of it was that feeling.
That's
of
what it looked
just,
like on Instagram.
Fun and new experiences, and exciting, and it was grueling. I mean, don't get me wrong. You do have to train, and we would have practice. Sometimes for 6 or 8 hours. So it's not it's just easy peasy walk in the park. But on the same token, it was just it's so much fun, because you're literally transplanted to another country you've never even been to, with a bunch of people you've never met, and they're all from different countries.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a cultural experience as well, because I was getting to meet people from literally every country you can think of.
Wow.
So getting to meet them and interact with them and see how they live their lives and they do their things, that's really cool.
So is there any other wrestlers on this show? I know Sarah, who is familiar, obviously, because she works on WoW as well. Are there any other wrestlers on this show that's working with you?
So the only other wrestler is going to be Maria. She was the one that dropped me off in my car, the one that everyone got to hear go nuts earlier. She started training actually over in LA just earlier this year, or at the end of last year, I guess you could say. And she is new to wrestling, but she's in the show as well, and she's fantastic. I'm excited of anything outside of the circus. If she actually does go ahead and go.
Mm-hmm. Oops, we're losing you a little bit.
What's that?
Oh, there you are.
We lost you a little
We
bit.
lost you for a
Can
second.
you repeat that? So you said that if she does pursue this outside of the show, then what?
Oh yeah, I'm kind of just hoping that maybe she will pursue it outside of this, because so good at everything they have thrown her way that I'm just I would love to see her actually perform as a wrestler. You know what I mean?
Right.
Wow.
Outside of training and then outside of circus.
Now, where can people, Atomic Salon is the show that you're in. Where can people buy tickets, come to see you, all that good stuff, the dates that are available?
Yes. Okay. So we have tickets available March 2020.
Okay.
And they can go to AtomicSaloonShow.com. They can also go to the Venetian and the Palazzo's websites as well. Those tickets are available. One of the easiest ways to keep in touch is on Instagram and Twitter with us. And that's at Atomic Salon Show. And I also have it tagged in my bio, on my Barbie Hayden page.
Okay.
And I share stuff of theirs often.
Okay. And then how did it all come about? How did you go from wrestling? Because the last time we saw you, you were in Texas, you were training, you were doing your thing. Mm-hmm. And then now I saw on your Instagram, you were in Scotland, and now you're in Vegas. How did that all come about?
So I used to work for the NWA, and I have a very good relationship with Dave Lagana.
Mm-hmm.
And I've worked with him, through Impact and, through, I guess, several other things. We've kind of become friends over the years as well. And he was the one who actually got me this job. It's just like he told me about it. He had the connections, who to speak to and, what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of rolled with it, I took the opportunity and I ran with it. So I can honestly just credit to him and his connections and his knowledge of it and him suggesting me for the show. And I wasn't the only one. That's the thing that kind of makes me more proud too, is that he actually suggested a few wrestlers for the show, women for it. And out of the ones that he suggested, I was the only one who actually got the position. So
nice.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Really cool. I mean, that made me feel really good.
Whoa, that's such a big deal.
So now, for folks so we know where to find you in 2020, make sure you get those tickets for Atomic Salon. Where can people find you on social media and all that good stuff?
So I'm going to be at Barbie Hayden, and that's BarbiHayden, and that is on all social media platforms. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's going nuts today because it's my birthday, so it's going a little wild. But I definitely keep very interactive with everybody on there. So if they want to reach out, they definitely can.
Well, happy birthday.
Yeah,
it's like a
happy
present to
birthday.
us, but we appreciate you for coming on the show. Happy birthday. I hope you have even more fun. Don't lose your car.
And next time we come to Vegas, we're going to hit you up.
Yeah,
because we
we're
want to
going
see
to
the
all
show.
find your car together.
Yeah.
Thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your birthday.
Thanks, Barbie.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So, oh my gosh, that was amazing. So, if you're in Vegas, I think one day we should.
That sounds amazing. I think we need a road trip, guys. Road trip.
You guys, I'm planning on going at the end of October if anyone wants to come.
Okay.
Oh,
there you
all
go.
right.
End
Let's
of
get those
October.
tickets.
Start planning.
And then also don't forget to watch Gabby on
Bound for Glory, Impact, but also I will be on Impact episodes, not only 39, which we just saw, but 40, 41, and 42, all on, I think, the Pursuit channel up until they decide to go to Access for the regular scheduled programming, because right now it's only older pay-per-views. But Bound for Glory should be on Access, I believe, and I will be on that pay-per-view with Impact.
And what date is that?
So we're shooting on October 20th in Chicago. So if you're local to Chicago, get your tickets. But I believe they're broadcasting November 4th. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that that's when it will be on television.
And then speaking of television, there's a lot of different wrestling promotions that are, there's so much wrestling, and I am happy, but I'm also scared because it's just a lot of stuff that that I have
So
to
much.
watch. But it's about you guys. It's not about us. So let's talk about it real quick. So let's talk a little bit about WOW. WOW airs Saturdays at 8 p.m. on Access Television. Gabby's a part of WOW. What can people look forward to if they haven't watched it, even though you should be watching it?
So this is a really important discussion to have because there are so many wrestling promotions, like TK said, on TV right now, running on a weekly basis. And people are probably wondering, what do I watch? What do I make time for? And if you don't really watch wrestling that often, it's kind of like, how do you make the decision between if you're going to watch WWE, Impact, WOW,
AEW, MLW,
and now NXT, which is another WWE property. So it's like, that's on television. So there's a lot going on. But specifically why I wanted to bring up WOW Women of Wrestling is because this show is the same mastermind, created by the same mastermind as the original Glow. Now, I'm not talking about the Netflix scripted series Glow, although it's based on that, but David McLean and Jeannie Buss from the Lakers created this show concept. It's been developed over years of time. They used to be on basic cable. Then they were just digital for a while. But now they're on Access TV on Friday nights, and they're actually in their second season right now airing. We just finished taping the second part of second season because I think it's a total of 24 episodes with a hiatus in between, 12 and 12. But why you should watch this show is because it is the first ever weekly women's wrestling show on television. That's a huge deal. I mean, we've talked about this here on Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly, how there was the women's evolution, and now women are getting more main event spots, and we want to see more of this. Well, here is a show we get to see every week on TV that highlights only women, a 100% female roster.
So it's going to be Fridays at 8 p.m.
Fridays at 8, and then also one of the things you guys should know about this show is, they use these colorful, feminine, ultra feminine graphics. It's like these magentas and amethysts, and it really is eye-catching. They're very into producing these complementary storylines and promos that highlight the real superhero behind each and every wrestler, and showing, how they can be a role model for women out there that are watching, whether they're young, old, or middle-aged. It's really a great message. And within the program, there's a few wrestlers I think you guys should pay attention to. So first up, we kind of touched on her briefly in our interview with Barbie, but she's also a part of this Vegas show, the Atomic Salon show at the Venetian. Her name is Sarah the Rebel, but she goes by Razor on Wow Women of Wrestling. Now, she is somebody who I personally worked with. She knows how to cut promos. She's also been a host here at Women's Pro Wrestling Weekly on AfterBuzz. But I have worked with her backstage where, some of these wrestlers, they don't know their storylines until shortly before they're about to tape. And every time I work with her, she's able to, dissect the story in her mind, talk about it with me for a few seconds, throw ideas back and forth, and then go into it with a one-take promo.
Sarah's amazing.
She just knows how to get the information out there, totally bring out her character, and it's on another level. Not only that, but in her regular interviews, just to promote the shows that she's doing, she is incredible.
So now we have Wow, and then the next up is we have Impact, which you're also on. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So for Impact, it was formerly NWA. It's been TNA Impact for just under 2 decades now. And why we should talk about this is because we have a huge female superstar in there. Her name is Tessa Blanchard. And she's actually been given a bunch of intergender matches recently. And for a woman to get an intergender match today, it's becoming more common, but still not happening all the time. It used to not be a thing. It was against the rules, years ago. So it's cool to see someone like Tessa, who has tons of experience in this business. She's been wrestling since she was a kid, have recent storylines with people like Sami Callihan, most recently right now, Dave Crist, who we saw on the wedding of Melissa Santos and Brian Cage, that recent episode. She literally was bloodied at Slammiversary from her match. She is such an incredible wrestler, fighter, cuts promos amazing. And on top of that, she's part of wrestling royalty. Her father, Tully, was part of WWF and was part of the tag team, the Brain Busters. This guy was really well known in the industry, and it's only, fitting that his daughter would follow in his footsteps and literally be of the same genetic pool that she'd be able to pull off what she pulls off in the ring. So
Tessa's amazing. Also, I was going to say, Taya's been on the show quite a few times. I love watching Impact up until the beginning of this year before I moved over to Pursuit, and I just couldn't find it. So I'm really excited for it to be on TV again. But let's move on to some other promotions. We have NXT, which is coming on Wednesdays at 8 on USA. Where are we looking forward for that?
So, as we all know, this is like the developmental branch for WWE. And in the past few years, the women's division has grown. It's dynamic. There's powerful women, and they're changing the game of NXT and wrestling. So it's really exciting to watch. The two women that I'm really watching are the first one is Rhea Ripley, a seasoned grappler. She's young, 22 years old, from Australia. She's already shaken up the UK NXT world, and now she's going after the NXT Women's Division championship, and that's going to be a huge thing and huge event, and I'm so excited to watch it happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this match because she's going up against Shayna
Baszler,
and we saw her on the Mae Young Classic. So I think it's going to be. I mean, although if you guys do watch NXT after show, which you should be watching, I am a huge fan of Bianca Belair. However, I think this is going to be a good match, and I think we can see quite a few matches onto another pay-per-view. So also tell us a little bit about AEW.
So AEW, the two women that I'm watching, one is Nyla Rose, and she has been featured in Sports Illustrated. She's the first openly transgender woman to be hired by a professional wrestling organization, and she's breaking down barriers, and she's She's bringing a whole new perspective to the wrestling industry, and I'm so excited to see not only the diversity represented, but not only in wrestling, but just throughout the sports industry. She has had some amazing matches in the Battle Royale at AEW All Out. She is a force. She's a force to be reckoned with, and I'm really excited that soon we'll see if maybe she's a future champion.
And AEW is going head-to-head with NXT.
With NXT,
coming up at 8 p.m. on TNT on Wednesday. So there's a lot of wrestling on Wednesdays. And then also, I mean, the flagship for WWE, we have Raw and SmackDown. There's so much to talk about with Raw and SmackDown if you're not following it. Actually, it's really hard to follow because there's so much wrestling.
There's so much.
So many hours.
So many hours.
So many hours. So we have Becky Lynch there. We have Bayley, who are the two champs. They're going to be going up against Becky and Sasha are going to be going up against each other. We have tag team matches. There's just so many women on both SmackDown and NXT that are in the locker room that we haven't seen. That we're seeing a couple of them in front of us. And what I'm hoping for, and maybe this is the good thing about AEW, what AEW's brought out of WWE is almost that fighting spirit. What I'm hoping for is to see really more stronger female storylines.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
I think it's going to be really exciting to see that both promotions are going to have to bring it and really raise the bar for women's wrestling, because that's what the fans want to see and that's what they're demanding, and they both have the talent. They just need to create the storylines, create those really big moments, and make it happen.
Yeah, and then Brandy Rhodes, who is the branding officer of AEW, she said to WWE to bring all the smoke. So that was in an interview a couple of weeks ago. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. I mean, if you're not watching I shouldn't say if you're not watching WWE, you should be watching WWE, but there are some big names that you should take note of. So you have Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, Bayley, Charlotte Flair. Those are just kind of the big notes, big names you should look at, the four horsewomen. But in general, just too much wrestling to watch.
I think it would be really nice if WWE or AEW followed in the footsteps of Impact and kind of had this lead female, almost like a Charlotte Flair or Becky Lynch, where they put a man in there, like they're doing with the Tessa Blanchard, Dave Crist, for example, storyline. How in order for him to be partnered with his brother for a championship title shot at Bound for Glory, he had to beat Tessa Blanchard. So now that's saying a lot by pairing a man with a woman and having the man have to beat the woman for a championship
WWE's
shot.
gonna do that.
I don't know if they
just
will,
yet.
but AEW, you have opportunities to fight against the grain. They're doing it with backstage with benefits and all this. So be the first, you know, try new things.
We're going to see wrestling history in the next week or so, and it's going to be
I think we
exciting.
also saw wrestling history with Lana and... Oh my God, Lana. I mean, kudos to her for just coming back, and I'm pretty sure she probably created that storyline.
So is that cheating?
I don't know. I did. So for you guys who don't know, I'm talking about Lana on Raw this week. She pretty much tongued down Bobby Lashley, and I was kind of like, I know the acting, all that stuff, but I literally text a female wrestler I know, and I was like, if your husband were to do this, like, would you be okay with this? Like, because I was very inside. I was very conflicted because I'm like, this kiss is
mixed
a
feelings.
lot. So
What if she got to pick the wrestler too? I want to kiss this guy.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's more cheating.
Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's not.
You have to demand your own storylines. You
I
gotta
know.
Yeah. I'll kiss Randy Orton, please.
Gabby's putting in her bid. Hopefully it's not anything crazy, and the wrestling couples will stay together. Also, shout to Zeta Zhang. She just got signed to MLW. And then also Naomi posted on social media, if you haven't been following her, she's been going through a lot. So we're definitely sending out prayers and, every positive vibes her way, because she's also a friend of the show. Thank you guys for joining us for this very special episode of Women's Wrestling Weekly. Gabby, where can people find you, and also talk about that promotion one more time?
Awesome. So you guys can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Gabby Loren TV, and make sure to check out Bound for Glory via Impact on Access TV. I will be doing all the backstage interviews, and if you guys love fashion and clothing, you could tune into Shein Live on Thursdays, because I host the fashion live stream as well.
Sounds amazing. So you can follow me at Emily May Heller on Twitter and Instagram. and look forward to more women's wrestling.
Thank you guys for joining us. You are the ones who make our show the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Without you, we would not exist because we need you guys to watch. You can follow us on everything at WPW Weekly on Instagram and Twitter, and also hit that subscribe button for YouTube. And thank you again to Abilene Maverick, aka Barbie Hayden. It's like so hard to get all these names together. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Other than that, my name is TK Trinidad. You can find me on everything at TK Trinidad. Till next week, guys. Ciao.
Bye.
From executive producer Kevin Undergaro, producer TK Trinidad, and me, Maria Menounos, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Women's Wrestling Weekly. To help TK, the crew, and women's wrestling in general, we ask that you subscribe, rate, and comment on Women's Wrestling Weekly at Apple Podcasts, and subscribe to our AfterBuzz TV wrestling channel on YouTube for this and other outstanding wrestling content. Buzz you later.